So we're going to start with something real easy, which is, I don't know if you've heard this term before, but I think you're going to know right away what it means. In the terms, it's actually two terms, biotic and abiotic. And it's a term we use in ecology for the things that are affecting a particular organism. The biotic factors or the abiotic factors. You tell me, what's the difference between biotic and abiotic? Leah. I'll give you a hint, Leah. It's the same root we use in biology. Bio. What does it mean? I'm sending it to you telepathically. No? Zach. No? No, somebody else. Zach. Biotic versus abiotic. What does it mean? Wild staff. I don't know. Wild staff. No? I don't know. Dave.
Is it like biotic is like a living force, and then abiotic is a non-living?
Living, non-living. Simple as that. Biotic factors are other living things that affect a critter. Abiotic, non-living things that affect a critter. Did it? And now, a question. What mammal kills the most humans every year? Yeah, it is humans. If you consider that a different mammal, yeah, humans definitely kill more humans than other mammals. If we exclude humans, though, what mammal kills more humans every year than any other? Kenley.
Mosquitoes.
Not a mammal. You're absolutely right. The mosquitoes win by a mile, even over other humans. Because of diseases, mosquitoes are number one with a bullet. Excellent. They're not a mammal.
Dogs.
And it's not dogs. They're in there. That's also disease, though. I think it's mostly rabies.
Is it like a bear or like a lion, something like that?
It is neither a lion, a bear, or a tiger.
I don't know.
This is a weird one. Leah?
Is it deer?
It's not deer, although with car accidents, they might be somewhere in there. Yeah. Anyone else? It's not something you typically expect.
It's like not a hippo, but it's those things that like live in the mud, right? They got like that. Yeah, that thing. What is that?
That's a hippo.
Oh shit.
That's not a hippo. That is a hippo. Yeah, because, so here's the deal. Hippos, several things that make them extremely dangerous. One is they're real territorial. Two is they live in, so life in the African savanna is pretty much built around watering holes, like around little ponds that everybody comes to for water, which is why predators hang out at them. And this is one of them. And they're omnivores. I mean, they occasionally snatch and grab, an antelope or whatever. But they also eat the plants around the pond all day long. But they're real territorial. They're incredibly fast for like 10 feet. So like something like 20 miles an hour they can reach, but just real short distances, right? So they can totally get you. And the other thing you can see by looking at them, they have an adaptation that makes them real hard to detect. What is it?
Like a murky color.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. This is something they have in common with an alligator, though. Can you see how they're like an alligator? What is it that makes them like an alligator? Yeah, this right here, right? The kind of bulgy eyes on top of the head, paired with nostrils that point up, means they are built to hang out just submerged under the water with just their eyes and their nose, so they can sit there and breathe and see all day, and you can't see them if you're not paying real close attention. So lots of humans just accidentally wander too close to the hippo gets mad, and they grab you, and they're strong jaws, but really what kills you is they hold you underwater. Okay? Okay, so I told you that, to teach you this. This is about energy relationships in communities. In other words, how do living things in ecosystems, in communities, affect each other energy-wise? The first two, very simple. Like when Caleb wanders too close to the watering hole.
Me?
And the hippo jumps out at speed and grabs his leg and drags him into the water and eats him.
Yeah. Good story.
That one, that energy relationship between the hippo and Caleb, where the hippo's getting energy and Caleb's getting eaten, is called predation. Very simple, right? Predation as in the hippo is a
Predator.
predator. Yep. One of that word. Okay, here's another relationship. Turns out by the time Caleb staggered up to that watering hole, there had been a lion that had been tracking him for quite some time. The lion was kind of bent on Caleb being her dinner and was very disappointed when the hippo got in first. What's the energy relationship? What do we name that relationship between the hippo and the lion? What do we call that? They both want the same dinner. We'll call it competition. Yeah, it's a competitive relationship. Yep. Doesn't have to be for food, but we are talking about energy here, so that's about it. We also call it competition when you've got the same space needs, water needs. It can even be intra-species competition for mates, for food. So those are the easy ones. Then there are relationships in communities that get a little weirder. Because it turns out there are some organisms that live so closely together that they can't help but affect each other. And there's certain ways they affect each other. Each of these, there's 3 of them. They all go under the category symbiosis, symbiotic relationships. They happen when organisms live very closely together. So if you watch this hippo for long enough, he's kind of hanging out after his meal in the water, just kind of floating. He's post-Caleb food coma. You'll see this bird fly up to that hippo and like land on a stump nearby, like 3 feet away, and you're like, that bird must not be very smart. Then doesn't he know about a hippo being, mean? And the hippo will kind of come up to the bird, and the bird won't budge. And then the hippo will do this thing where the hippo, their mouths are kind of crazy big, and the hippo will actually like open its mouth like this. And you go, uh-oh. And then the bird will jump into the hippo's mouth. You're like, that bird must have been very depressed. But what happens is the bird starts to hop around in the hippo's mouth and start pecking at its teeth. And if you're looking closely enough, you'll see it's actually pulling out like wads of gross stuff from between the hippo's teeth and eating it. Ugh. What's the bird getting? Is the bird benefiting from this at all? Oh yeah, that stuff has calories, that's food. What's the hippo getting? Yeah, and it turns out dental health, there's a reason that we pay dentists so much. Having healthy teeth, non-infected teeth, is actually a huge advantage in life because your teeth are way too close to your brain for you to be able to handle too many infections in your teeth. If they get out of control, they're very close to your brain and they can totally kill you. That kind of relationship where each party is getting something out of it is called mutualism. That's the second one. Sorry, got my order wrong. Should have gone inside the hippo's belly first. Both parties get something, it's mutualism. If one party gets something and the other one actually loses something, is harmed in the process, that's parasitism. That one you've heard of. And all you got to do to find parasites in a hippo is go inside its small intestine. And oh, there will be worms. Pretty much any meat eater, and plenty of grass eaters too, have worms inside their small intestines. Those worms usually are either picked up in the meat of other animals in the form of eggs. Some worms get pooped out by the animals that have them, wind up on the grass. Other organisms eat them from the grass. Once they wind up in the intestine, they hatch. They extend little hooks and hook on to the inside of the small intestine. And they just kind of sit there, constantly being bathed in pre-digested food. Most of them don't even have mouths. They've adapted to where they don't even have mouths because they can just absorb the food that's digested by the mammal through their skin. So that's parasitism. The hippo's losing energy to the worms benefiting by gaining energy. It's parasitism. There's a third kind of relationship. Because that hippo is eating all day long. Rarely does it get meat. And so mostly it eats the vegetation around its pond. And mammals aren't very good at digesting plants. And so basically out the back end of that hippo is constantly coming a lot of partially digested plants. In other words, that hippo poops all day long, like constant stream of poop coming out of that pond. There's a saying in ecology, there's no free lunch and no lunch goes uneaten. There's a lot of calories left in that partially digested poop. And there's a fish, I swear to God, there's a fish in watering holes in Africa that makes its entire living swimming behind hippos, getting the calories that the hippo didn't. Isn't that gross? What's the fish getting? Energy, yeah, calories. What's the hippo getting?
Nothing.
Hippo doesn't care at all. Doesn't even notice the fish is dead. It's called commensalism. One of them benefits, the other one could not care less. So, 5 kinds of energy relationships in communities that you will need to know. That is today. If I give you 13 minutes to work, will you work? Okay, get out your guided reading. The guided reading that is due tomorrow.
Is that in there?
You tell me.
Still like that.
Nope, that's the sample essays. This. Guided reading.
This is due tomorrow.
You can have till Thursday. No, tomorrow's Thursday. Friday. Finally. I might be able to give you a page number.
Just sign this one out today.
Bring it back to the end of the day. Yeah.